Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. What you need to know. Have a drink, have your say. All opinions here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Webby, GA, and Matt are here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Come and have your say.
Speedway is, in my humble opinion, one of the most exciting sports in the world. It's unique in oh so many ways. For instance, it is the only motorsport that is a true team sport, whilst still retaining some of the elements that make individual sports so compelling. But this week, Speedway did the one thing that it can be said it is the best in the world at, without any arguments. This week, live on the box, for everybody to see, Speedway took careful aim at both feet and shot them both off. Only in Speedway. Okay, welcome to the Speedway Tavern on this fantastically warm, yes I said warm, and sunny, yes I said sunny, Thursday evening. We have in the studio Joseph.
Hi.
Hey, that's just too cool, that is. We've got Webby.
Good evening.
We've got Matt.
Good evening.
And we've got myself, GA. Hope you're all fine. I'm going to have a quick straw poll. Was that a bit too strong, what I said there at the beginning, Matt?
No, not really.
Webby?
No, that's fine, yeah. Fine. I ain't got a clue what you're talking about, but...
For those that don't know what we're talking about, we're talking about the fiasco that happened on Sky, Coventry versus Poole, which should have been an absolutely fantastic match that everybody should have been looking forward to, and once again, as I say, we shot ourselves in the foot. But we'll talk a little bit about that a bit later. What I want to do, start off with tonight, is to go back in time. That doesn't
Probably
work
time
on
I
radio,
can do
does it?
that.
Yeah.
I haven't got a clue why he's making that funny noise. Before this comment gets lost later on, because
Okay.
you'll forget it, Speedway dancing to Sky Sport Money again. If you can remember that, and we'll talk about it later.
Okay, yeah, well, that's going to be part of. Yes, that's going to be
I'll
part,
lose the
part
comments
of.
otherwise,
Yeah,
so,
okay.
okay.
Yeah, well, that will form part of what we're talking about. I'm absolutely positive. But I want to go back in time to one of my heroes, and definitely a Brummie legend, I think, because this week saw the anniversary of the death of Jeanette Kudrunner, and I would love to have you guys out there give me your memories of the great man. And yeah, I think it'd just be a fitting way to sort of mark that. We just everybody shared their memories. My memories of and Brummie Time Lords come straight up with Kermit. That's why everybody called him Kermit, because he wore bright green leathers. He wasn't, apparently, when he found out what Kermit was, he wasn't quite happy about it. Yeah, but it was, all done in affection, and there certainly was a lot of affection for Zdenek. He was the life and soul of the Brummies at that time, and he put bums on seats, and you could guarantee that whenever Kermit raced, something was going to happen. He might end up on his backside, he might win the race spectacularly, or he might lose the race spectacularly. All of those things were options, but in my life there was a sense of anticipation and a sense of, here we go, folks, whenever he lined up at the tapes. And because of that, because of his whole attitude, his never say die attitude, the guy was a Birmingham legend. So yeah, anybody got any memories that you'd like to share about Steneck, favourite races maybe, or something that you might have spoke to him at some point, or whatever it is, really, whatever it is, then please share it, and I will share it out over the air. Obviously, one of my saddest. I might go in a minute, I might actually, because even now it's quite emotional.
Yeah.
One of my saddest memories was picking up the newspaper and finding out that Kermit had died after being impaled by a wooden fence, and I think it was a grass trap meeting, and it just shows the difference. I think that's right. Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah. It also highlights, because that was a week out of date when I picked that up, on how times have changed. Because something like that happened now, you would know about it within minutes of the news. You would know about it all round. I'm not sure what is the best, whether it's better now or better then in that respect. But
That's when Lee Richardson was killed. Fairly quickly,
didn't it? Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, I feel like I've started on a downer, but I don't want it to be a downer. The guy was a legend, and let's celebrate him in that way.
Yep, agree.
Okay, so I think we'll start off in our customary place now. Matt, what's been happening at Wolverhampton? Oh dear.
Just eliminating a pretty disappointing result at Leicester on Saturday with a 53-37 defeat.
That's quite bad to lose to Leicester. That much.
Thankfully, Jason Garrity was on hand to really save us from a real humiliation. He was the reserve, and he's top scorer with 13. Peter Carlton scored 11. Freddie Lindgren scoring just 2 points. Not good enough from a number one, really.
No.
So yeah, very, very disappointing performance, and I'd say probably Wolves miles away from the top four. You're miles away for you. No disrespect to Leicester, but you need to certainly be going there and pick another point at the very least.
Yeah.
And
I think we know what you mean.
yeah. And, I think you think back to that win at Lakeside a few weeks ago. They've sort of the advantage of that. Was gained from that. Sort of being wiped out by losing at home to Kings and then dropping other points as well. So yeah, very disappointing. We were due to race Swindon on Monday, but it was rained off. And of course now we've got the break for the World Cup, and then the week after is the British final.
Do you think the break actually come at the right time for Wolverhampton, give you a chance to
maybe to
regroup a bit?
I mean, Thomas Muselet is still out injured. Don't know whether there's going to be a change. I suspect not, because the Wolves promotion don't tend to make changes at this point of the season. When we scored 8 points from his rides, probably wouldn't have scored that with Leicester, to be honest. So yeah, very disappointing, but well, from what I gather, I mean, I wasn't at Leicester, but from what I gather, it was quite a good meeting by Leicester's standards.
Okay, I was going to say, you surprised me then.
Not much of a consolation, I suppose, when you've been on the end of the defeat, but even so.
I'm just looking at the Elite League table, and of course it's been quite a positive start to the season for Wolverhampton. You were in that top four, but you've slipped out of it now. Unfortunately, you're in 5th place, and it's and you're not that far from 6th place. 2 points in it between you and Bellevue, but Bellevue have got a match in hand, so it's worrying times, isn't it? You're sort of slipping down to where you thought you was going to end up at the beginning of the season. What do you do? What do you do to change it around? Is there anything that it's...
Well, done alright in patches, to be fair, as a team. I mean, okay, as I say, we went to Lakeside and won. We went to Coventry and pushed them hard. We beat Coventry at home with maximum points. But there's been too many matches really where points have slipped, and it seems to be the trend with Wolverhampton these days, having a lot of matches where points slip unnecessarily, and at the end of the season they come back and bite us in a painful area. So, but I think, as I said at the start of the season, I think there wasn't a high expectation for Wolves this season, and I think really with the team probably even the doorbell.
What are you doing?
The doorbell.
Do apologise for our snob twiddler.
I think the big disappointment really has got to be Freddie Lindgren's form. I mean, he's been poor in all the away meetings, to be honest. He hasn't hit double figures in any of them.
Because he started off quite well.
He started off quite well. I mean, let's be brutally honest, he wasn't fantastic in his previous season at the club in 2013. I don't know. I don't really know what you can do to change it, to be honest.
Well, I guess like any...
Obviously, personally, I would love to see Ty Woofenden come back, but I think...
it's not going to happen, is it?
I think there's more chance of me riding for Wolves than there is of Ty Woofenden this season.
Can I just say I would pay to see that?
I'm sure you'd pay to see that. So I think most people would.
That would just make my day. Well, I mean, obviously, you'd hit the nail on the head. It's riders that win and lose matches, and if you want to change something, you change the riders, don't you? But I'm aware that Birmingham and Wolverhampton, in my opinion, are in very similar positions. I'll explain. We're Birmingham's top of the league right now, and yeah, we should celebrate it. But you don't win anything for being top of the league at this point of the season, and you can see that we're top of the league and we've done well, but most of that is down to one rider being at reserve, and that's going to change soon, and there are cracks in this side that perhaps need to be fixed.
Well, it was a great win on Monday at Kent, but I think when you look down the Birmingham scorers, 8 points from Harvey Banks' ride. I don't think he would have got that somehow.
And we probably got a similar haul from him last night as well.
Yeah.
Rumour is he's out.
Who's saying that?
That's come from Dingle.
Who is out?
He didn't say that.
Who's out? Who's out? Because I hate saying this. Let me just sort this out because this is annoying me.
Yes.
There we go. I hate saying this because riders are. They try. No rider goes out there to lose. Every rider is trying their hardest. Mm-hmm. But I think it was very, very obvious to everybody last night that Harvey Banks' confidence has just gone. I mean, the one thing that we've said all season, have we not, is that he makes the gate.
He makes the gate.
He didn't do that last night.
No, he didn't. I mean, number of times that he's made a flying gate, and he's been last by the time they got to the corner.
But at least he made that. At least
That's
put
right.
himself to be in that position. But yesterday, and he was shaking his head all the way around. Every mistake he made, he was shaking his head, getting on his own back. I presume. I think he needs to go back to the Midland League, regroup, get a bit of confidence, and try again. Because I think when he's riding well, which is usually when he's by himself, he's got a nice little style and he's got talent, and you can see there's something there. But there's a big difference, isn't there, when there are 3 other riders on the track?
3 other riders that have got more confidence as well.
So. And the other thing that I don't want to say again, I don't like. I'm not going to I'm not bad mouthing riders. I don't want people to think that. But I honestly believe that Adam Kirby. He did really well at Kent.
Yeah.
He did well at Kent. But
another 2 falls last night, though. So.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. It's not staying.
And Bath, I think we're in point scoring positions as well. So
absolutely.
Time to rest Banks and let Bob Parker have a go.
I don't think Bob Parker's the answer. I don't think he's going to score. I think he's close to it, and maybe if you give him a chance, he certainly has. I think he seems to have a bit more confidence. But if there's nobody else available, you ain't going to do. He ain't going to do any worse, is he?
No, that's it. So.
But yeah.
Any poor rides by Banks and Kirby are highlighting more than himself, or Chapman has used, it's difficult to carry 2 rides in a top-heavy 6-man team.
Would you like to mumble that again?
No.
Would you like me to
abbreviate RR?
See, yeah. I'm just reading what Dingle's just said. Sorry.
Well, it's better if you tell everybody.
Yeah. I like to read it before
Otherwise,
I say
you
it.
get like blank.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, but the ride replacement at the moment is saving our bacon. So we're getting more, points from Chapman's ride than perhaps he would have given us, and we need those extra points. Don't get me wrong, I want Sam Chapman back, and I think he's a good rider. Had him back in a heartbeat, and hopefully, I was really disappointed that he wasn't riding last night, but I'm pleased that he's not coming back until he's ready to come back. I think that's important at this level, particularly. It's difficult to carry 2 riders in a top-heavy 6-man team. I see what you're saying. However, we've done really well, and we have carried those rides, but purely and simply. I mean, how many more points would we have had if Sam had been riding, and we could have used Zach in other areas that as and when were needed? I don't know. Dingle says, I hear that Zach is in the main body in the next meeting. Not sure why, though. Would you care to explain why? It's because of his average. It's as simple as that.
Simple.
He's had 4 meetings now, and he'll go into the main body of the team because, surprisingly, his average will be higher than Harvey Banks. So
I think my average is going to be higher than Harvey Banks, to be honest. But
again, if you want to come down and try out for the team, we'd be quite happy to cheer you on and in. Dingle says Adam Kirby has got the dirtiest Kevlars in Speedway, and his mum is fuming. No comment. Just stay on the bike, Adam. Just stay on the bike.
Yeah.
It really, that, if he stayed on the bike in some of these races that he hasn't, I wouldn't be saying actually maybe we need to be looking at another rider. I wouldn't be saying that.
Yeah.
I'd be saying he's doing what we've asked of him. We only need 2, 3, 4 points from him. That's all we need.
He's a decent rider, but it's just staying on the bike. We could do that.
It's sort of part of the job description, really.
It does help.
Other than that,
It usually wins your races.
Well, wins your meetings. So it is going to be a worry for us now. Dingle says it should be at the end of the month. I don't think that it works that way anymore, does it?
It used to, but years ago, but it doesn't now.
It doesn't work that way anymore. The special one. What's your take on the hype around Zach? Justified or premature? I think both.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we're.
I think you'll see the true test of him when he's in the main body.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't get extra rides.
I think he's. I've said this before, and you've disagreed with me, but maybe you'll agree with me now. I think he's the best reserve in the league at the moment. Matt, you're going to disagree with me again? You're still going to say Ellis Perks?
Ellis Perks seems to have tailed off a little bit, doesn't he?
I think
levelled out. Not tailed off, levelled out.
I think.
Way.
Well, it's like you say. The true test is when you go into the main body of the team, which is because you don't get that easy first ride to give you the confidence. I think that's all it is, because he was beating these riders before, even in the reserve berth.
Yeah.
As is Zach at the moment.
I'll still probably just go for Ellis Perks.
Well, I'll give you. To sort of be fair to Ellis Perks, he is carrying an injury.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is helping him, a knee injury. I don't think that's going to be helping him.
He's also more experienced as well.
He is more experienced, yeah, but the way Zach races, I mean, how many times has Ellis Perks come off what we've seen him? He's been on the floor a few times, hasn't he? How many times has Zach been on the floor?
I've seen that many times.
Once. As far as I'm aware, just the once.
Yeah.
A bit of a nothing fall as well. He's got a brain about him. He doesn't get panic. He's calm. He thinks his way through races, which is what I like about him. And you say about the experience of Ellis Perks. I think Zach belies his inexperience. And then obviously he has got experience in grass track and so on. That's got to as far as the racing brain part of things is going to help. We will talk about the match again in a moment, but what did you think of the bronze helmet match race?
Well, I missed the bronze helmet match, unfortunately, so I can't really answer the question. But from what I gather, it was a good race. So.
It was a good race, but and I'll go through that in a minute. Why I think it was a good race, but also I thought it was really good. Shame you missed it. The way we made it into an event.
Yeah.
We walked them on and made a big
good.
thing. Yeah, it was made into a proper event. It wasn't just they were going to race at the end. Which when Cradley did it against Coventry, it was very much we've got another race here. You want to watch it? And they didn't make a thing about it. They presented the bronze helmet to him. They even had I think it was the chairman from the SCB there to present the bronze helmet, and they made a big hoo-ha about it, and it just made it into an event and made it quite exciting.
It's like a run-off for a bonus point, an old bonus point run-off that they had years ago. You can't beat a sort of a one-on-one.
It's different because they've got the whole track to go at each other. And it was a good race because Zach didn't make the gate. Now, Tony Atkins had gone for the outside line. Now you know what? Everybody knows where he's going because he's been doing it all night. He's going out as far wide as he can on that first bend and getting that grip and shooting off the second bend to the third bend. Everybody knows that's what he's going to do. Zach knew that's what he was going to do. Zach didn't make the gate, so he couldn't sort of park himself in front of him. So he did the next best thing, which was stay right on the inside and shoot down the straight, coming across him as he's going down the straight, and kept him off that third bend. And then the way he rode the race from that moment on, with Atkins trying around the outside, and it wasn't blocking him, wasn't trying to stop him from using the outside, but he knew where he was going to be, and he was able to position his bike coming off the bend, and so
There were a few close moments.
There was, there was, but I thought it was very calm, and
I'm trying to work out whether it's good or not for a rider of Tony Atkins' age to be still scoring big points in that league.
Well, it's not what we was talking about last time. It's not a training league anymore. It's not. It's a proper third division. Is what it is. That's what it is. And
he's a great fella, Tony. I mean, he obviously started his career at Wolves 21 years ago.
Yeah.
And was always a real trier, and we saw that last night from him. So
we've had a few comments about whether it's justified or premature. Time Lord says it's justified. Dingle says it's premature. He says I always thought Cameron Heaps was the next big thing, but never quite worked out. And that's a true enough comment, isn't it? There's a lot of riders out there that you think they're going to be something, and then they don't quite make it to that next level.
Yeah.
The thing that's in his favour, he's so young. He's so young, and he's 17 now, isn't he? Yeah, he's 17 now. We're 16, I think, when at the beginning of the season. We're 17 now, I believe.
We'll be 17 again. It was a long time ago for me.
17. And he's wearing it. He's been wearing it for 17 years. Go on. So, yeah. My own personal opinion is that some of it is justified because of the results. I mean, look what he did at Kent. He's never ridden that track before.
Yeah,
that's top scored and took the bronze helmet. But yeah, it is a little bit premature as well because he's 4 races and 4 meetings into his career. Let's give him a chance to find. Yeah, let's find out. Give it. It's going to be an exciting ride.
Yeah.
Finding out, I think. Or Garrity, Dingle says as well, and Garrity seems to be coming on quite well now.
Yeah, he still tends to panic if he misses the gate though, and wipe off the field out.
That's the biggest thing for me. That makes me think. That he's got something about him. He can gate, so he knows about what gate. But if he doesn't make the gate, he doesn't panic, and he doesn't. He tries to pass, and he'll try hard, but he doesn't overdo it.
Very mature rider for his age, I think.
Yeah.
And for his inexperience.
Yeah, and very, very tied. He's a rider that you don't ever feel that he's out of control.
No.
But you can do with some younger riders. So
Tony Atkins could be Zach's granddad.
Could be.
it could be a great granddad. I'm not sure. Well,
I actually heard some of the fans talking about that.
okay.
Yeah.
You can't give Tony Atkins. He did the number one job for them, so you can't knock him for that, can you?
Yeah.
Okay, so last night's match, I thought we made heavy weather of it, if I'm honest.
I actually think Buxton probably deserved something out of the meeting, to be honest. And for a while it looked like they might nick something. But you always felt the big heats, 13 and 15.
I think losing Blacklock hurt them.
It did. Losing 13 and 15, though, I think were always going to be the key heats for Birmingham. I think Alan Ellis was actually asleep when Tony Akin passed him in 13.
I think, I think he was still thinking, where did Tom Perry come from? Because he shot down that like a rocket, didn't he?
Someone said to me in the bar afterwards that he lost concentration and then sulked when Mackin passed him, but I don't know whether that's true or not.
Well, we'll have a listen to an interview by Tom Perry in a moment, and he might throw a bit more light on that.
He didn't seem too happy, I noticed, after he came off. So
yeah, there was a big discussion on the track, wasn't there?
Yeah.
What about that Heat 15?
Tremendous.
Wasn't that something? That pass that Tom Perry made after passing and then being repassed, and then he went from third to second to last to second. I think all in the space of a lap and a half.
Great way to end a meeting.
Oh yes.
Yeah. And he went in between the two of them, and I think it was very reminiscent of that pass that Joe Screen made in Poland. That you must know the video I'm talking about. Very reminiscent of that. It happened a bit further down the straight than but it was that sort of something special, wasn't it?
Joe Screen was a brilliant rider. Probably the best young English rider I would say I've seen. Probably. Well,
I never saw him, of course,
he
but
was sort of 19, 20 years old. Probably maybe Ty ahead of him, but Joe Screen was for entertainment was up there, definitely.
So the next match-up, I believe, is Coventry.
That's right.
I think we need to be a bit better.
I think so, yeah, because I think Coventry will be a tougher nut to crack, because they did well when they came with
against Cradley, yeah, and I think in the best will in the world, Cradley at the moment would probably beat us.
Yeah.
And of course, our next match after
is across the
is against Cradley, the away match at home.
Yeah.
Deagle says, I think we owe Buxton a favour. I hope we take a lot of fans there as they are a lovely little club. Is that being patronising? Yes.
No, it's being honest. No, it's being a Speedway fan. That's what we do.
Okay. If anybody can find the place and get over the cattle grids.
Okay. I'd like to go. I wanted to go to Kent, but with the 6:30 start, there's just no way I'm going to get there. Not even of a flu. So I will try to go to Buxton if I can, and hopefully we'll do them a favour and beat them. But we need to make changes.
Okay, can we play a track and then we'll come back with a short clip?
Yeah, we'll play a track and then we'll talk about what went on Monday.
So you're sick and tired of hearing
Okay, you're back with the Speedway Tavern, and Webber, you're going to tell us who that was?
That was Burnside and a song called Wasn't Ever Gonna Happen.
I really like that one.
Yeah,
Just for those any musos out there, we anybody got any music they want to be played, then where do they send it to?
they send it to tracks@sports-radio.co.uk.
Because we've got a fair few on the go now, haven't we?
About 2.5 hours, isn't it?
Well, there you go. Right, okay. Monday night. Is the word fiasco too strong?
I think the word utter shambles is probably better. So I think you said it right at the start, GA, but I think in fact it was a post I put on the BSF afterwards when I said that British Speed have got a great big gun and proceeded to blast its own foot off.
So we're singing from the same hymn sheet very much so then.
I believe there's been a statement released as well by Go Speed.
There has, yeah. Well, in fact, I've got that up and I'll read that in a moment, but I think probably we'll go into the background of it before. Obviously, there was a match between Poole and Coventry. Everybody's quite excited about this because Poole had come to Coventry earlier in the season and won. Then Coventry went to Poole and won.
Yeah, we know there's not a very
yeah, exactly.
between the two clubs.
It certainly isn't. And there'd been rain threatening. Well, I mean, there had been rain all around the West Midlands, but apparently it had missed Coventry for most of the day. And so when they started, the track wasn't in too bad a condition, but the rain started almost as soon as the racing started, didn't it? And look, we know the situation with Speedway fans. We've been there. The team in front wants to carry on. The team behind doesn't. It's human nature. And there are rules within Speedway that say if, after heat 10, the team that's behind can ask for a track inspection. And but usually sanity prevails when people ask for a track inspection before you'll get one, and then the referee will go, "That's all right." I've never ridden a bike, but it's all right.
What I understand is when the rules were first introduced regarding that, why were they introduced? What was the reason?
But for the very reason, for the very obvious reason, if you're in front, you want the meeting to go on. If you're behind, you don't want the meeting to go on.
Yeah. So why was the rule brought in?
For that very reason, so that if you're behind, you're not necessarily allowed to ask for a track inspection, but if you're in front, no, so the other way around, if you're behind, you can ask for a track inspection. Yeah, because obviously you're not doing it to try and influence the match in that position.
But you are, because obviously you're behind.
I've got it the wrong way around, haven't I? Yeah, I've got it the wrong way around. I have it. It's been a long day.
I need to ask somebody knows me.
Yeah, you probably do, Joseph. So anyway, that's by the by. We've all been in that situation. In one way, I can think of a knockout cut match against Bellevue that I was incensed was cancelled, going way back, because we was winning with half a team. And I don't think, in my opinion, that Paul, wanting to continue, did anything wrong. At the end of the day, and it's so difficult for me to say that, and at the end of the day, if it had been the other way around, if it had been that Coventry had been in front, they would have wanted to continue. There's no doubt about that.
I remember last year when Lakeside rode Poole towards the end of the season, and Poole were behind, and Neil Middleditch was quite vocal in wanting to get the meeting stopped.
And there was that Poole Bellevue match as well.
Strangely quiet in that one, and of course he stayed strangely quiet on Monday as well. So.
Yeah, well, because he'd got everything to win and nothing to lose in effect. So I don't blame Paul in that situation. I do think I can understand why Gary Havelock was upset and why Coventry were upset and why they wanted the match to be postponed and why they thought it was dangerous. I wasn't there, so it was difficult. I mean, it it didn't look like, it wasn't a great meeting, it wasn't a great spectacle, but
Certainly wasn't a great crowd either.
no, well that's another thing we'll perhaps come on to as well. But I do think that once the decision had been made, rightly or wrongly, whether that decision was made rightly or whether it's made wrongly, you have to be professional. And for them to refuse to send riders out is shortchanging the 3 people that were in the crowd.
Yeah.
And it's just not professional.
No.
And it's that I think very much is the Speedway shooting itself in the foot. Now Gary Havelock has come out and said that Speedway has shot itself in the foot,
Okay.
but I would say actually he was the one that had the gun in his hand in this situation.
It must be an absolute agony considering the number of times he's done it as well.
But they also say, and now I don't know how true any of this is, I'm only repeating what I've heard here, that the accusation has been made that Coventry were not allowed to prepare the track in the way that they wanted to prepare the track, that it was dictated upon them in how to prepare the track. That's the allegation. So I've got no way of knowing whether that's right, wrong, or any sort of colour in between.
Yeah.
But for this stuff to be aired is again shooting. This stuff should be talked about behind closed doors. The stuff that happened on the television on Monday night, a lot of it shouldn't have been happening in front of the cameras. And this is where you don't see deliberations going on a football match. You see a decision.
Yeah.
That's it, and that's what you should see at a Speedway match. You should see the decision, not how the decision was got to, and not who was arguing with who, and all the rest of it.
Said Dingle, but I'm not sure what he's referring to.
Okay, what's not true is what we need to know there, Dingle, please. That's sort of something that they need very much to sort out. Stop airing it in public. Stop showing your dirty linen.
I suppose Sky like it because it's controversy and they like to see controversy.
Well,
there's controversy and there's just absolute.
Let's be honest about it. I mean, if that had been any other match, would that have gone on last night?
No.
That's whether you say whether that's because Sky are saying, "Come on, you've got to run, you've got to run. We're giving you this money," or whether it's because Speedway is saying, "Oh, they're giving us all this money, we need to run." It could be either or. It doesn't really matter. It wouldn't have gone on without Sky being there, and that's something that needs to be redressed.
The frustrating thing for me is that you look at the number of gaps there are in the fixtures. I don't really understand why there's this obsession with we've got to get the meeting run through, because there's plenty of gaps in the fixture list to slot fixtures in.
Well, I think the Sky plays a part in that.
Possibly.
I'm not saying that they purposely play a part in it. I think just the fact that they're players. Because I don't know. Yeah, how would I know?
I'm just reading that comment.
Sky never tried to influence track prep. You try telling that to Terry what to do. See, okay, I think that's possibly true, but I didn't say Sky.
Yeah. I'd like to see Sky try and tell Lynn Silver how to prepare a track.
Yeah, I didn't actually say, and I didn't actually mean that it was Sky that was telling Coventry how to prepare the track. I think Go Speed might have had some part to play in that, if you believe what that Coventry have been saying. I've got no way of knowing, but there is a clue to that in Go Speed's statement, which I will now, if I can get it up, read to you in full. Here we go. Go Speed International Limited, the company responsible for managing British Speedway's contract with Sky Sports, would like to make the following comments following Monday's Elite League meeting between Coventry and Poole. Go Speed International Managing Director Terry Russell said, "Our role is to try and keep all parties happy whenever possible. Sky Sports, the individual clubs, the British Speedway Promoters Association and more." There's somebody missing from there. From that little list, I've just noticed it now. Have you spotted that? The most important ingredient, the fans.
Yeah.
Interesting. We were concerned by the weather forecast for Monday and informed the Coventry management we needed to speak to them on Saturday morning to potentially postpone the meeting. Unfortunately, we could not get hold of the Coventry management at that time. Our agreement with Sky Sports is that in the event of a poor forecast, we can give them the option to postpone 48 hours in advance at little or no cost to the broadcaster, and at the same time we would offer the staging club another TV date. Win-win. However, once the 48-hour threshold had passed, every effort was made to stage the meeting as Sky were committed to the broadcast. The track was fine at the start, but deteriorated because the rain finally arrived, rain which had been forecast earlier in the day. At no time did Sky Sports have a say in whether the meeting went ahead. If the track had been waterlogged during the day, it would have been postponed there and then, but it wasn't. Sky were quite prepared to run a filler show in the event of no racing, but when it was obvious the track was fine, both teams were happy to race. During the meeting, the steward and coordinator liaised with the managers and captains, and the meeting went to the end of Heat 10, admittedly in far from ideal circumstances. Once again, Sky Sports had nothing to do with this decision. It's a delicate balancing act trying to keep everyone happy, and the fans, hey, inside the stadium were obviously disappointed, for which we apologise. We sincerely hope this situation never arises again, but I would add, rain has always been the sport's biggest enemy. Maybe its second biggest enemy. I think the sport itself is its biggest enemy.
Quick hello to Chris Simpson, who's listening on tuning.
Oh, hello Chris, nice to hear from you, mate. For those that you don't know, Chris Simpson has been the Birmingham presenter for the last 5-6 years up until this year. Yeah. Yep. So good on you, Chris.
What fans?
300 tops. Well, yeah, let's talk about that. The fact, I mean, for a meeting that everybody should have been wanting to go to, the fact that only 300 fans turned up says how big a part the weather played in people's mind. After all, it was on Sky as well, so why bother going down?
To be honest, if you weren't a season ticket holder and you went to Coventry, quite frankly, you should get a life, because that was going to be an awful meeting. The rain was going to ruin the meeting.
Yeah.
And,
was you there?
No.
Okay, just
I wouldn't have gone there.
No.
You could have offered me a free ticket. I wouldn't have gone to that.
No.
Looking at the forecast.
And it should have been a showcase event for the Elite League, because it's important, that match, and as we've said before, not a lot of love lost between the two teams.
This 48-hour thing bothers me a little bit.
Yeah, when has a meeting ever been? Unless you've had torrential rain for a whole week, and there's no way of it, you can possibly make. But you ain't gonna.
If you enforce this 48-hour rule, then you'd hardly see a match or so.
Well, right, yeah, absolutely. So that's a bit. That's lip service, that is, isn't it? Really.
Well, presumably when Go Speed contacted Coventry, they left messages for them to call them back as well. They didn't just phone them and the phone rang out and they thought,
presume so, but again, it all sounds very amateurish, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's the bit. Yeah.
I think Terry and Ronnie Russell for me have a bit too much power in Speedway for my liking. That's just a personal opinion.
Talking of personal opinions, this is a personal opinion of mine. I think that as Speedway fans, we very often don't help things. We moan a lot. We say this is wrong, that's wrong. And why would I tell anybody to come to Speedway? I've heard that a comment a few times. And if we, the fans, have got that attitude, well, you ain't going to get any more through the turnstiles. We are the sport's biggest advertisement.
Yeah.
However, they don't make it easy for us, do they?
No, they don't.
Chris is trying to say.
Yeah, there are people that are trying to join the chat box but don't know how to do it. It's ever so simple.
Okay.
Just above what it says, welcome to the SRB radio chat room. Just put in any name you like and click on save, and there you go, you're away. Okay, simple as that.
Okay. And there are other ways that you can
listen to us. You can listen to us on tuning, or you can listen to us actually on the site. So there you go.
Yeah. And you can also get in touch with us via our Twitter account.
Yes, which is Sports Radio 1, and Facebook is Sports Radio 1, and there's also Brummie Speedway.
Okay, now we've got a couple of interviews that Joseph did from the match, so I think we've sort of gone past those a bit, haven't we? So we ought to play those interviews. First of all, we had Tom Perry. Okay, let's
here
have a
with
listen to
Tom
Tom.
now. And how does it feel to be top of the league, and do you think we can stay there?
Yeah, I think so.
Move out of the way.
It's going well at the moment. It's been a good season, going well. We're going to get run over again, I think. Just go over it. I think we can. If we just keep going strong like we're doing, we're going to struggle a bit. I think when Zach drops and goes to the main body of the team, because he's having 7 rides at the moment. But we'll see what happens when that comes along. I think we're still doing enough to win meetings, and all the other lads are going to pick up more confidence as the year goes on. So, yeah.
And how does it feel to be? Oh wait, we had a lot of crashes to the match tonight. What would you say that's down to?
I don't know really. The track was obviously a bit grippy in places, and people were struggling. But it's just one of them. They're getting there, so we'll just see what happens.
Tell us about that awesome race against Tony Atkins from 3rd to 2nd in one corner.
Which one was that?
I think it was Heat 13, wasn't it?
He was pushing me wide, and it hit the dirt and it just took off. I know Adam wasn't very happy, but it was just one of them. I think he wanted me to hold back a bit, but to be honest, he's quicker than me everywhere we go. So I was expecting him to pass me back, so it was just one of them, yeah.
So there you go. Now you know a little bit about what that discussion was on the track. As Tom Perry says, it was one of them. And we also had a chat with the new bronze helmet holder, Zach Vitanek.
Which is coming up very, very shortly, if I just paddle for a little bit.
Hey!
Yeah.
We're here with Zach now, and how does it feel to have successfully defended the bronze helmet tonight?
Yeah, it's good. It's a bonus. I didn't really know about the bronze helmet, and then went down to Kent and got picked for that. So it's a bit of a bonus. It ends off a really good night.
And there was a lot of crashes this meeting. What would you say that was down to?
Just everyone pushing for the points, I reckon. We all chipped in well, and if we can continue this form at home.
Last question. How does it feel to be top of the league, and do you think we can stay there?
Don't see a reason why we can't. We've gone away and proved that we've rode well. So I reckon we'll be all right.
Okay, thanks for your time.
Cheers.
Okay, I need to sort of add a little caveat to that. Joseph, who does our interviews for us, we hadn't got the machine yesterday, so we had to use the telephone, which he'd never used before, and he wasn't sure whether the thing was recording or not, so you hadn't quite got your head in the game there, had you?
I was more concentrating on making sure it was actually being recorded than...
That sounded okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it worked well. So anyway, there you go. I guess we need to go back to talking about the Coventry match. And incidentally, I'm still waiting to hear from anybody. Any memories of Kermit? Would love to sort of share them. One of my heroes, as I said before. I wonder whether this is a partial answer to some of the problems in that sort of situation. I think I understand why they have the rules the way they are, as far as if you're in front, you can ask for a rain off, and the way the rules work. I just wonder whether actually it should be taken out of the team's jurisdiction completely, and it should be down to an ex-rider.
A race marshal, I mean, meeting marshal.
Yeah, as far as whether the track is raceable or not, whether it's dangerous. That's the priority, isn't it? Is this safe? It's a very dangerous sport, Speedway. We don't want
it. It could work, but I think you would have to say that if you had ex-riders who were making stewards, they would have to be rides that had no previous
Of
with
course,
the club.
of course, yeah.
I mean,
Or
you couldn't have Kings Liverpool and have Darcy Ward as the making steward. You couldn't have.
well, no, because he'd be drunk. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I take that back. It just I do apologise. Yeah, absolutely. There would need to be rules in place and so on, but it needs to be something like that, doesn't it? Somebody that can make a decision that's not to do with the situation in the match. It's just to do totally and utterly to do with, is this track rideable or not?
The most important thing, of course, is the safety of the
Exactly.
riders, and that has to be. So.
What would be ideal is if there was we could get some sort of test to see how safe it was, and then.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking that as you said it. I don't, maybe some sort of meter where you can pick up some shale and measure how much water is actually in the surface of the track, something like that. That's not arbitrary. Then it's yes or no, and it's nothing to do with the match situation, because that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's always to do with the match situation. It's always in the situation, always, every single time. If you're in front, you want the match to go to as far as heat 10. If you're behind, you don't.
Oh,
It's you can't get the staff, can you? That's always the situation, isn't it? Time after time after time after time. You could guarantee, right? Absolutely guarantee that you could have two matches between Poole and Coventry, one at Poole and one at Coventry, and they would both take diametrically opposite positions in the same situation.
Well, looking back on last season, wasn't there a similar incident in the Birmingham-Swindon match?
I can't remember much about last season, so I've sort of written it off in my head.
I think there was. I think it was actually the TV match. I think it was abandoned.
Oh yes, yeah, I remember. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It needs to be taken out. It needs to not be the decision of the teams.
Yeah.
And if it's going to be the ref's decision, which is probably not the best, because particularly as most refs are not riders, it needs to be taken behind closed doors. He needs, and it needs to be right. I've made this decision. That's what we're going with. Not with people coming up to him and saying, "Oh, you do this and this and that." He's got to be able to make the decision by himself, and then that's the end of the story. And perhaps there needs to be some sort of system whereby, if, like what happened at Coventry, once the referee has made a decision and they decide, well, they ain't going to ride or whatever, then there needs to be some sort of retribution. Probably will be.
Probably.
Yeah, probably will be. So, Dingle says if a team refuses to ride, they should forfeit the match. Well, Coventry had already forfeited the match. They knew that it weren't going to. Everybody knew it wasn't going to go past heat 10, which is another topic, incidentally, that perhaps we can talk about. But maybe points deducted would be an even. If they'd had some points deducted from there, I guarantee if they knew they was going to have points deducted last night, they would have gone out into that heat 10.
Maybe.
I can almost guarantee, because you're not going to lose those points, are you?
No.
I might have just tootled round at the back, but the special one says awarded 75-15. Doesn't make any difference whether it's 75-15 or 2 point. There's no. You don't get extra point for being 6 points in front anymore. So, apparently it happened to us at Peterborough in '86. Blimey, there's some long memories here.
I was only a little kid then.
Yeah, okay. We believe that.
Thousands wouldn't. So.
4 of them in here. So, okay. Well, quickly look forward to next week's match, which is Cradley against. Is it Buxton?
It might be. Actually.
I think it might be Buxton. It's going to be interesting to see how they
get on.
The comparison between the two. So,
and of course, it's the the World Cup next week as well. So
World Cup next week, which I'm looking forward to. Really hoping Danny King. Something else we could have spoke about tonight, and we haven't got time now, but we'll definitely have a chat about it next week, which is the new engine that's in production at the moment that Chris Harris is using amongst a few others, which supposedly goes a long time, much longer time between having to be serviced. That's got to be good, hasn't it?
it's got to be for cost, sort of thought,
And I think Godden are producing one
Especially
as well,
with
so,
money
and Joe.
problems lately. Like, service less, you know.
Well, competition drives prices down, doesn't
Golden
it?
were big at one time, weren't they, for Speedway engines?
Godden were very big, yeah.
Nielsen, when he won several of his world championships.
That's
riding-
right.
riding Godden,
Were Godden the first ones that did the lay-down engines? I can't remember. Or was it
There might have
GM?
been- No, I think it might have been GM.
I still remember the Wesleys. Anyway.
Not the
Right.
Jeffs.
Well, so obviously we've got the Buxton match coming up against Cradley next week. Obviously Cradley going to win. It'll be interesting to see if they win by more or less. Give us a sort of idea of where we are. And be interesting to watch how Ellis Perks goes as well in light of Zach's exploits. And I think we're coming... Oh, is that the music I can hear in the background? Wow. Okay, we've come to the end of our time. Thank you very much. Sorry if I've offended anybody from Coventry tonight.
He did that for weeks.
Live with it.
He did it for
Take
days.
care, everyone.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. What you need to know. Have a drink, have your say. All opinions here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Enjoy your stay. Webby, GA, and Matt are here today. Welcome to the Speedway Tavern. Come and have your say.